Hello and welcome to the Footy Times Premier League review show. This time we're going to be reviewing game week 6, which was quite the opposite of what we've seen over the previous weeks. It was so bad that we almost considered scrapping this particular episode, but I thought, the show has to go on. So we will talking points we can generate. But before we get into that, as always, please like, share, subscribe. This helps you keep notified of any content that we bring and also helps us get more engagement, which enables us to bring more and hopefully better content in the upcoming weeks and months. So before we get into reviewing the games, Rahul, I will hand it over to you for the start of the weeks. Start of the week. Slim pickings this time, but let's see what you have for us.
Yeah, so let me just get off with the start. The start of the week is that this is the lowest that a Pep Guardiola team has scored in his 12 years of managerial career. So basically 5 points after 5 games, 8 points has been the lowest that a Pep Guardiola team has scored after in his 12 years of managerial career. So which sort of drills home the point that it's been a very open league where people have been sort of scoring points off each other, and a testament to how sort of drab this week was. So with that, back to you, Avinash.
Yeah, I think Pep is pretty much a gold standard for these kind of things, and I think especially his teams have sort of made it a habit to get off the blocks really quickly.
Yep.
No matter what happens. So I think that's a very, very revealing stat, and like you said, it kind of just sort of just points to how open a season this has been, and I hope that we continue to see this.
Yeah.
Because I think football needs it.
Okay. Football needs it, or a Liverpool supporter needs it.
Liverpool supporter certainly doesn't. I'd be absolutely happy if we had another season like last season. But it is gonna be hard. So if that's not gonna happen, at least I don't want Man City running away with it. Let's at least have an open competition where, as a football fan, I have something to cheer about. Anyway, so straight into it. We'll start with the first boring game of the week. Manchester United versus Chelsea. So much was expected from this, especially given Chelsea's sort of entertaining nature of the contests, and in general the games between these last season were pretty good. So take it away, Sheldon.
Yep. Manchester United versus Chelsea. Now, Chelsea, like you said, Chelsea were coming off of what do you call 0-0 draw in Sevilla. I think Lampard was trying to make sure that their side don't concede any more goals, which kind of put them on the back foot because it was back-to-back games with 0-0. United, on the other hand, had done really well in Europe. They beat PSG in Paris itself, 2-1. Now, I was expecting. I mean, both United and Chelsea haven't had the best defense, and my my understanding of Maguire and Lindelof, but Tuanzebe came to our help in when we played against Paris, but. Ollie decided to go back to that same formation of playing Lindelof and Maguire, which didn't really backfire. We managed to keep a clean sheet, which was even though the game is boring, we still managed to get one crucial point, which was really important. Some of the important things for me to highlight in this game was the fact that Dan James and Mata starting in this game, which was like really. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Dan James. The guy, I don't even know what to say about this guy. Like, what position is his best position? Because we usually play him at right wing, and then he had the opportunity to play in his best position, which was the left wing, and all he did was he got the ball. He ran at Thiago Silva or whichever centre back, or I think it was let's see, left wing Azpilicueta, and he basically just ran into a wall and just gave the ball away time and time again. Never created much. I guess Ollie was expecting miracles from him, and it just didn't work out. So that's just my. I just don't think that Dan James and Mata need to play in the same game. They're not going to. You have one who basically doesn't have in-game intelligence. The other is intelligence and the flair and everything, but doesn't have the pace to kind of keep up. But I don't know if Ollie took, he took Chelsea defense too lightly. He thought that he may nick in a goal, but that didn't really happen. We didn't really create that many chances. You know what? Fred and McTominay, I mean, they started this game and they protected the back four. A lot of people were saying that, McTominay has been really doing really well. But his passing has been like just sideways. He doesn't have the what do you call the skill that he doesn't have it in his repertoire to actually go ahead and make that pass like probably a Matic could make. But then again, there's that trade-off. McTominay doesn't score. I mean, doesn't have the space, and then Matic doesn't have anything to offer when it comes to pace. So, but you know what? This game was boring. There isn't much to talk about it.
You don't have to drag it out, Sheldon. It's okay.
The only thing I want to talk about was the controversial penalty that wasn't given. Maguire hugged. I guess he was
Triangle more like.
He strangled. I think strangled is the right word.
I've heard a lot of people say, if you are WWE fans out there, Aspilicueta was giving Maguire the Stone Cold Stunner. So it could work both ways. But yeah, I mean, it was a boring game. But you know what? It was a game which neither team deserved to lose. So 1-1 was. I'm pretty satisfied with that.
Yeah. Anything to add?
As Sheldon pointed out in the end, I think both managers set up the team not to lose, which basically made the game very boring. I think Lampard had been bitten twice by playing expansive football against United last season. So he definitely took the conservative approach of not letting in space for Rashford or Dan James to run behind. And that was very evident. And Ole on his side did not really innovate more. And one thing I quickly wanted to mention was, like, again, the selection, kind of put us in a very bad corner, like having Mata and James. So essentially on the bench you had Van der Beek, Pogba, Cavani, and probably
Telles.
two more, Telles, and probably one more player who deserved to start. So, and given that you can only make 3 substitutes, it was there was always going to be a player who is good enough who was left out. So I felt we missed the trick there. I still feel that if Mata can start, Van der Beek surely can start that game in my mind, because he probably offers more pace. He has similar intelligence to Mata, or like if Mata and like he's definitely better than Dan James. So those were some of the things. But yeah, both managers setting the teams not to lose just led to a really boring game. So
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing to add.
Yeah,
much.
I mean, just the one thing I wanted to add. Yeah, like I said, last time out I said Chelsea's games were always going to be entertaining.
They went to prove you wrong.
Yeah, they promptly went on 2-0 draws in a week. And yeah, I think further to the point what I said last time out, they are still struggling for that balance between attack and defense.
New players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and identity as well, because I mentioned that too, that kind of all over the place. Some games they are high up, some games they are in a low block.
Yeah, a lot of
They
players
kind of
were
saw all of
missing
that.
in the team. Like you couldn't really see
Yes, I agree with
Werner,
that.
Havertz. Like Pulisic probably was the best out of the attacking options they had, but a lot of players were just not visible in the game.
Yeah, and that's probably because there's too many defensive players with the back 3, and I don't know who we had in midfield, Jorginho or Kante. So neither of them want to get forward.
Yeah.
Pulisic probably because he does carry the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So he was probably the one first player who could progress the ball. Werner needs service, and Havertz isn't exactly effective unless he has players running off him.
Yep.
So I guess that kind of contributed to it. But yeah, I think probably Lampard would be the happier with the draw, given how much criticism there was of Chelsea's defense and being away from home, and like you said, the results last season.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't even know if the away from home factor matters anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, I think on the whole, probably he'll be the happier.
It actually does. The away, you know what? United surprisingly has a better away record compared to a home record.
Yeah, that's probably why. Because it doesn't mean anything anymore. But it could, if the fans are back for the second half of the season, maybe now United will go to not a full Stamford Bridge, but even if there are fans out there, so
they don't have a lot of fans.
Kind of yeah, I mean Chelsea. I think not talking about City. It's probably applies to Chelsea as well. Okay, so we can move on because I don't have anything. Rahul, do you have anything to add?
No, it was a pretty boring game. It's snooze fest to the core. So yeah.
Okay, so we'll move to the next snooze fest, which is your team. So I think it's a bit late coming from you.
No. I mean, it was not a snooze fest. It was not a snooze fest. At least the first half, I feel. Yeah. So I think it was definitely a bit of a boring game, but it was like divided properly between the two halves. Like the first half was when Arsenal were good. I felt there were a lot less conversion was the problem. So we had 11 shots totally, and we didn't convert any. And in the second half, we just had one shot, which was incredible to think. So yeah, it was definitely a tale of two halves kind of a thing. And obviously, the biggest moment of the game was, I thought, the VAR call for disallowing Lacazette's goal. That was ridiculous. Like it's like the VAR referee was playing FIFA 98, a two-dimensional game. Like if you look at it, he just was reviewing the video from one angle where you see that Schmeichel was blocked by Xhaka when he was trying to save Lacazette's header. But if you look at it from another angle, he was nowhere near. Like Xhaka was behind Schmeichel's like what do you call vision. So there was no way that he was going to affect the goal that happened. He didn't touch the ball. That was like the goal was not disallowed because he touched the ball. That was not the reason. The reason was that he impeded the keeper, and he was nowhere near the keeper. So yeah, I guess that theme is still ongoing.
The controversy continues.
It's not controversy. It's
not going to end anytime soon.
Yeah. So
I think.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go on. No. I mean, yeah, these kind of offside calls are always a little subjective, I guess. But this was probably more clear.
This was not.
I don't think he was interfering with the play, like you said.
Right.
So yeah, it probably should have stood.
Yeah. So that was like pretty jarring, and I thought that goal would have at least helped us sort of build a platform and go on to win or at least get some points of this game. So yeah. So sorry, I just sort of went into the whole VAR thing, but there were a few other good points to talk about in the first half. Like one of them was David Luiz passes. Like you look at the range that he had with long passes, it was pretty incredible. Like he put Bellerin through a couple of times. He found Tierney also a few times on the flank. So it was just a impressive overall game from him. And apart from that, just the passing, just the defending also from Luiz was pretty incredible. Like the man marking, like just putting pressure when Arsenal were not on the ball. So yeah, definitely in second half when he walked away, we were at loss for sure. And then Vardy being introduced in the second half with Mustafi in defense, it was just a tragedy waiting to happen, and which it really did happen. So I think in the second, the first half overall, the VAR goal was bad. Arsenal not converting was bad, like Lacazette, and Aubameyang still not showing up in games was bad. Second half, it was a drab affair. Like people, like Arsenal players weren't really pushing the Leicester players off the ball in the first half. So that was not happening. When Vardy was introduced, the defense was not able to cope. And I think Xhaka had dropped into the defense a few times. And he was also exploited a bit with all the through balls that Leicester put through. And obviously, the goal, when it came, I didn't think Arsenal had it in them to come back from that to salvage a point also. So, yeah, it was an overall boring game, few flashes here and there. But yeah, I don't think I have anything more to add. This is the second game in a row that Arsenal failed to score. So there's definitely something lacking up ahead. And I hope that changes soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this, the five in the back is. I still have the feeling that five in the back is not what Arteta wants to play, but he has to play given the deficiencies.
Well, this was supposed to be like Partey was supposed to solve that, and people thought we all thought that was the system, given that you had three midfielders, but Xhaka was dropping into that left-sided centre-back role. I don't know why.
So I think if you look at the first half, it like the wing backs, they were just bombing ahead. Like it was almost, if you think about it, there were a few plays where it was like 2-3-5, like literally 2-3-5. So I think that's why Xhaka had to sort of fall back to a more defensive role, because Tierney and Bellerin were always up there. And I felt, sorry, Avinash, you were saying something.
I thought there was opportunity in the first half because Leicester really didn't have a threat in behind.
Right.
I think Maddison was playing up front and he kept dropping in, so everything was in front. So they could easily have pushed Xhaka even further forward into more of a midfield role, or maybe to create more. I don't think Xhaka is the most creative, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I think you have a problem there anyway. But
yeah, I was going to say that Leicester, I mean, they barely had a defense. I mean, they were missing one of their key defenders, and then obviously they didn't have a recognized striker in front. They had just Barnes and Maddison. So they weren't great. I just felt like Arsenal should have done better in the first half. They should. I mean, yes, the one chance was taken away by VAR, but I thought that they should have buried that game, right from the get-go.
Still far too negative. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
It's going to take time, but I think, there's going to be a point where the patience is going to wear out.
Yeah.
He's still kind of dining off those, 2 FA Cup win, basically. Where it worked really well, that sort of game plan. But week on week, I think it's going to be...
It has to change.
Yeah.
So
and if it has to change, then the next game is Manchester United. So I hope it doesn't change.
I hope you take your time.
Yeah, this is probably one game where he shouldn't change, because that's exactly what
they need. Yeah, exploiting the defenders, and it'll be interesting the next game for sure to see how it goes. But I'm hoping we break the streak of not scoring. It is too frustrating, man.
Yeah. I would like to actually, give a shout out to Tielemans. What a pass, though. I think it was like a 40-yard pass to Under, who kind of squared it out for Vardy. So that guy has a lot to offer. I think he'll have more to offer throughout the season. So Tielemans. I don't know if you guys have him. Well, he doesn't score that many goals, so I don't think you guys are gonna have him in your.
No, CDMs are not FPL friendly.
Yeah, when you have Mo Salah and Aubameyang and Sadio Mane as midfield.
Well, Aubameyang is not doing anything for you guys.
Yeah.
But this time around in FPL, the amount of midfield options is just crazy. Like Rashford has become a midfielder. I think Werner is a striker. Havertz is a midfielder.
Greenwood is probably.
a midfielder. So there are like tons of options in midfield, and then you obviously have your Bruno Fernandes, Salah, Mane, Kevin De Bruyne. So
Sterling. Yeah. Anyway, quickly moving on. Yeah, I think just one last thing I wanted to add was from Leicester's perspective, it seemed like it was telegraphed that they're going to bring Vardy on. And just keep it tight until then. Yeah. And the game just changed when Vardy came on. They started stretching them more. And it's almost like Arsenal got caught out. because they were so used to everything being in front of them, and suddenly they were having to turn around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think as far as went like clockwork, pretty much similar to Man City game, I guess. Yeah, the other thing was Arsenal have posted an XG of under 1 for 3 consecutive games.
Oh.
So yeah, I think that just goes to show what we're talking about. So it's about time to start changing.
Yeah, I think the high of Mikel Arteta high is wearing off, I feel.
Yeah.
Just in the hangover mode. Yeah. So hopefully he bounces back.
Yeah. I'm interested to see the evolution
Of
Arsenal
Arteta.
Arsenal 2.0.
Under.
Yeah. Under Arteta. Anyway, so moving on, I think it's my turn for Liverpool 2, Sheffield United 1. So, I mean, yeah, I think this was always going to be a difficult game, and that's kind of how it panned out. I have an interesting statistic here, I think. So, we were kind of gone back-to-back games without a win, right, leading into this game. And the last time, but it did season, but that was after we'd won the title. The last time it happened when it actually mattered was back in February 2019. So you have to go back to, a couple of seasons ago where there was a back-to-back draws against United and Everton, I think, but anyway, so that's how long it's been since we actually went 2 games without winning, which is mind-boggling, actually.
Yeah, pretty impressive.
Yeah, that could have been the stat of the week.
Yeah, but if only it hadn't happened, like it happened after Project Restart, after the
Yeah.
But yeah, that's anyway. So I think it was imperative that we get back to winning ways, and it did not start well. Sheffield went a goal up with another very contentious VAR call and a penalty. I'm not going to go into it because I've exhausted that particular aspect last week. But I think irrespective, Sheffield were definitely the better team in the first half. They were very organized. They did not look like a team who are bottom or second bottom or wherever they are. I think they've been quite unlucky in the previous games. And they were really organized defensively, which they always are, I guess. And tactically, it was very simple what they were trying to do. They were just hitting it long to Ollie McBurney, who was really good in the air, and he pretty much was winning every ball. And then once they had the second ball and they started playing, and they actually really caused a lot of problems. They could have easily scored 2 or 3 goals in that first half. And yeah, Fabinho struggled a bit. I don't mind so much the tackle for the penalty, but even otherwise, he didn't win a lot of aerial duels. And it's kind of expected because that's not really his forte. And this was actually the first game which he's played in that we've conceded. So he had 4 clean sheets. But then if you look at the games that he's played, it was Bayern, Chelsea, Ajax, and even Brighton. Like all of them are teams who like to keep the ball on the floor. And I think he's much more suited to playing these kind of teams when he's playing at the back. Because that's kind of his strength, sort of reading the game and
interceptions and all that.
Yeah, and aerial dominance is not really his thing. So he did get dominated a bit. And yeah, every time the ball went up, like I mentioned, right, I was scared. But thankfully, the goal came just before halftime. I would say almost against the run of play because although we had the ball, really looking short of ideas. They were slow, they were ponderous, there was absolutely nothing being created. And it was just one cross to the far post. I mean, I can't believe that Mane was so free. And then Firmino followed up. And a Firmino goal at Anfield is actually a bit of a collector's item nowadays.
He only scores most of his goals away from home.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And so I can't believe the 2 players were so free. So I don't think Chris Wilder would have been happy with that. So yeah, as I said, it came at a really good time. And second half, I think, it almost gave us a boost and it just pretty much controlled the game. The goal always looked on the cards, even though it's not like we were creating a lot, but it just seemed like, they knew they'd score and it's kind of happened. And even after they scored, it was very controlled. They managed the game well, controlled the ball, didn't give them much of a sniff really. So that was great to see. And yeah, tactically, Klopp changed things up a little bit. He went with a 4-2-3-1 this time, which hasn't happened. He's tried it at times in the last couple of seasons, but he's never sort of had that 4th attacker who's good enough. Almost, he did try for an extended period at the start of 18-19 when Shaqiri was playing off the right. And sort of Fabinho was still being integrated, so he was trying to play him in a double pivot, which he was more comfortable with. But then he moved away from that, and since then we haven't really done that. But because we finally have an attacker who I think is not much of a drop off. In fact, he could almost be on the same level as our front three in Jota. You might see a lot more of this, and this game was, I think, especially ideal because Sheffield play 5 at the back, and they usually have a lot of numbers. So we definitely needed that extra player to sort of just provide an option, and it worked. I mean, because we won, you can say it worked, and because Jota scored. But yeah, it was still like not. I wouldn't say it was the difference maker, but yeah, it's something to watch out for. And yeah, on the whole, it was just a very hard fought 3 points, and it kind of feels all the more sweeter for it. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is there may be no Van Dijk, but what I saw was that the mentality is still there, that sort of bounce back ability and that relentlessness, and this sort of not giving up basically. And some of the game management that I saw in the second half also encouraged me a lot. So yeah, there is still hope. As long as we can get 2 centre backs on the pitch, which is looking a little bit hard with Fabinho also being injured. But yeah, I think we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So yeah, I don't know if you guys had anything to add.
Just a quick shout out to Trent. The cheeky shot he tried from half line. That was pretty incredible.
That was so Beckham-esque though.
Yeah.
He's Beckham-esque.
As in,
he does.
He does have that
Flair,
very Beckham-like crossing abilities.
Yeah.
He's actually the one player I'd probably compare him to because he's kind of, he's not really a winger. I know he plays right back, but a lot of his plays come from sort of that inside right channel or just a lot of crossing and things like that. Although he has more to his game, cross field switches, and he's got a really good passing range. I'd like to see him use that more, dribble more. He's got so much more to his game actually. He can even score more. So
yeah, he's young. He can pick up a few tricks along the way. So
yeah.
Wait, wasn't this the first game Alisson was back? Because I'm sure I'm sure that played a huge part, psychologically for the team to be galvanized and.
Definitely,
Yep.
I think
Avinash was less stressful.
It was a miracle, honestly. Nobody expected him back so soon.
I don't know if you guys saw that clip of there was where Adrian was kind of trying to clear the ball or something.
Do not remind me. I do not want to see that again.
I know, but there was a video or rather a meme of Adrian trying to clear the ball, and then Gomez looks at him in disgust.
Oh yeah. I know.
That was making the rounds. It was hilarious.
I think midweek. Yeah.
The other thing I was wondering, how many goals does Jota actually score from headers? Because he's not that tall, right?
No, I don't think he scored a lot. It was one of those. He just was in the right place. It was right in between. Really good cross from Mane. Sort of dumped it out.
Exactly.
Again, I don't think Wilder will be happy because he was, like you said, it's not like he had to rise above or win a header. It was just he was in the space
dropped
between the
correctly.
Yep.
And maybe Egan the one who's missing? He's loose the centre backs, so maybe that made a difference. Stevens had to play there. He's more of a wing back generally. But yeah, and on the point about Alisson, what the difference was this time was, I think I mentioned this, the fact that we could control the ball better because we were not having to go long, especially in the second half. I think it really helped us manage the game. So it's massive, like what Alisson means. I don't really need to overstate it. So yeah.
True. Good point.
Yeah.
But do you think Avinash going further like this long balls would be a strategy taken by more teams?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're going to. I remember anytime teams used to win a free kick, even if it was just inside their own half, they'd send the men forward and they'd be lumping it in, and you're going to see a lot of this right through the season. I'm really not looking forward to it.
But I think that gives Liverpool an edge because they're obviously very good on the counter. So even if they put a cross in, and if you guys are able to win it, you guys can just.
It kind of that can be an element of overdoing that because it is at the end of the day a 50-50 thing when it goes up like that. But
that's true.
Most of these teams do have one of those players up front. I think we might see that with Antonio this weekend. I was hoping he might miss it, but it looks like he'll recover from the injury that he had. So unless we have anything else, we can. It's a nice segue
Yep.
to go into West Ham, Man City. Yeah, I don't know who wants to start talking about this.
I can
because
I
we're
can
gonna-
I can start and you guys can
Oh my God,
chime in.
yeah.
So yeah, again, with Rahul's stat, Pep's team dropped a few more points again, two to be precise. Uh, it was in terms of possession, it is like if you look, it was a typical City kind of stat, like 70% possession with City, 30% with West Ham. But that doesn't tell the complete story for sure. I think before we start the video, Avinash mentioned that their XG was really low, even after having so much. This is Manchester City's XG was super low, even after having so much possession. And I still feel that it was evident that they are missing De Bruyne, and Aguero was just warming up to the game. He's still not uh, uh, hit the ground running. So those things were still a factor. But a shout out to Antonio. What a goal!
What a
That
goal.
was like a really really good goal. Uh, he has that very like the bullish strength to hold off defenders, get that extra yard of space. But in this case, it was like a perfect bicycle kick and a goal. And also the young Phil Foden played well. I feel that he does take very good positions. Like he finds himself in the box quite often, like those late runs which are difficult to track, and definitely one to look out for the future. Uh, but like even after this game, Aguero was injured again, so uh, I don't even like, and I think Jesus is injured, so I don't think so have a striker.
Sterling.
So I
No,
feel that
dude.
this, yeah, I feel that this struggle might just continue longer, and
Yeah.
and yeah, as in again, there was not a lot to talk about. Not there was. It was still a boring game. Like
But
again, it was in
Nisarg,
the
did
theme of the
you
week.
Nisarg, did you see the number of times Sterling missed? I mean, he had open chances, right?
Yeah, I think a couple of
Yeah, I
occasions. There's
think
one-on-one.
couple
Yeah,
of
a couple
couple
of
of
them.
them
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
that
I
But yeah,
mean,
that
but
then that's not
that's yeah,
unusual.
that's Sterling for you. Yeah, I don't know what he does at times. Yeah, I mean, it confounds me. He'll
yeah,
just
I
do.
mean,
He'll
As in sometimes,
Yeah, he'll get into really
yeah,
good
sometimes
scoring
I feel
position.
that if you make the goal simple for him, there are higher chances of him missing.
like
Yeah, but then he
I
does seem to get a
like
lot of tap-ins as well. So
yeah, he
Yeah,
gets a lot
that's
of
true.
tap-ins, but does anyone know? I mean, obviously, you may not know off the top of your head, like what his one-on-one like finishing.
conversion.
Yeah, seems like it's pretty
It
low.
has to
He's
be
missed
poor.
quite a few.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think his
It,
decision making is just a little. He lacks that composure, and I feel like he's almost always looking to see if there's a pass on, and he very rarely takes it upon himself to finish. And I think
yeah.
this is something I've noticed from right from his Liverpool days. His finishing has improved a lot, but it's still way short of what it can be.
Yeah.
The
So
other thing which the Nisarg actually touched upon was, the reliance on Kevin De Bruyne. He came on in the second half as well, right? But uh, even though they created a lot more chances, I don't know. It seems like De Bruyne, after Silva leaving, and obviously Fernandinho not being on the playing that much, De Bruyne seems to be one of the crucial people to create, and
yeah,
especially when with Aguero missing and stuff like that. I don't know. It seems like City are in for a long season. I don't know if they can rely on the current firepower they have at this point in time.
yeah. I think they're not
But
so creative. That's the thing. Last season there were times where they were not able to finish, but this season they're not even able to create as much
Yep.
as we're used to. Like this was the first time. I mean, I don't know. They posted an XG of under one. I think this is what you're talking about, Nisar.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
can't remember the last time that happened. Like
that's
XG
true.
of 0.89.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but West
yeah,
Ham like did also have like a good game at defense. Like they were, I mean, they were just
yeah,
clearing the ball a lot of times. but their interceptions of the final pass and all, I felt it was pretty good. Lucas Fabianski, what would have given for him to be that like good, like keep doing those, but he also pulled out a couple of good saves in the game. So yeah, apart from City not playing nicely, I think West Ham also had a good game in the back.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, West Ham definitely like look like a decent team. Yeah, I don't think so. They might struggle like with like any. I don't think so. They'll struggle with relegation battle or anything like that this season. Uh, Especially if they can keep Antonio fit. Uh,
Mikel Antonio. Yeah.
yeah, because
Do you,
yeah.
Have you
I
seen
was
the
actually
Go
sorry.
on.
Go ahead.
Go on.
Oh,
No,
I
no,
was
it's
going
like,
to say that I did. Lanzini didn't start this game either, right?
yeah, no,
No.
that's what I was going to say. The options they have on the bench is actually ridiculous. They have Benrahma, who they signed, who's yet I don't think
Yeah.
he's even been
Oh, I
recorded.
rate Benrahma
He's
quite a
really
bit.
good.
He's really
I think
good.
he's
Yeah.
kind of a replacement for Felipe Anderson. Um, and then they have Lanzini, they have Yarmolenko, Haller. These guys can't get a game.
Yep.
It's unreal what they have, and they mostly play League Cup. So yeah, it's a good squad as well.
I think West Ham and Southampton are going to be, those two teams that are going to be taking points away from the top six for sure. Be teams to look out for.
Yeah, Southampton did take points off the leaders over the weekend.
Yeah. So I think this week they both lost, right? Aston Villa and Everton. So none of the teams has like 100% record.
I think I jinxed them last
That
time
could
when
have
I
been
was
the start
picking
of the
them
week
up.
too. Yeah, that is true. What do you guys think of the Luka Dean red card?
Luka Dean, I honestly speaking, when I looked at it the first time, it seemed like a clear-cut red card. But then I thought he was hard done by because his foot landed on the heel of Walker Peters, and then Walker Peters was dragging his feet, and so it just kind of. But it seemed like they appealed it, and he's got only like a one day. I'm saying one game ban.
One game.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I don't know. It was not dangerous, but it looked really bad.
Yeah, it looked exactly. It looked really bad.
Yeah, I saw this on Twitter somewhere. He basically used his Achilles as a skateboard.
One thing. Ancelotti said after the game was the fact that the previous game how the tackles went in, it kind of played into the decision making of Lucas.
That was just gas. I don't know.
I don't know. It could be. You may never know. It
play a lot of mind games. It's not like him, so he should probably just keep quiet.
Right. Yeah. But honest.
Should we move on?
Go ahead.
Yeah, probably. Unless you have something to add, Sheldon.
Unless we are going to be talking about the Everton game, but I was just going to say last was that Everton were already losing the game before even Dinia was.
I don't think
it wouldn't have had any effect on the result anyways. So yeah.
Southampton were absolutely deserved winners.
Yeah, outright. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I do want to talk about Aston Villa Leeds.
Best game of the week.
That's the thing. This was the best game of the week, I thought. Leeds 3, Aston Villa 0, Leeds 3 actually, and like you said, it was very enjoyable. I thought it was a very even contest in the first half, especially. Thought Villa were marginally the better team. You could see the confidence that they were playing with. There was an assurance to them when they defended and they, when they went forward, they had that balance right. Grealish had a couple of great chances. He had one cleared off the line. I think it was absolutely brilliant from the Leeds defender. I'm not sure if he hit it where he was or the defender happened to be where the ball went, but either way, it really worked. And then he had this unbelievable dribble where he sort of went from his box. He went past 3 or 4 players in midfield, and then he got into the opposition box, sort of jinked in, put 3 defenders on their arses. He had about three situations where he could have shot, but he delayed it maybe a little too much, and that would have been one hell of a goal, probably goal of the season already. I thought it was better than Son's goal last season, where he ran from one end of the pitch to the other to score. So that was just Grealish being, and I think enough pace.
Yeah.
Not you don't think he's that quick. You just think he's all about great feet and all that. But in addition to that, he just has that sort of acceleration, and he just goes past you before you know it. And yeah, he demonstrated that run. So, but they didn't score when they had the chances, and will always pose a threat. We've seen enough of them already this season to know that they are not going to change the way they play. Bamford did have a couple of chances in the first half, which he probably should have scored, but he didn't. But second half, what a performance that was!
Yeah, all sorts
Single-handedly
of
took the
goals.
game away. Yeah. Yeah, the first one, I think, yeah, once the first goal went in, it was kind of a bit of a poacher's effort, basically being right place at the right time. I think Villa just lost their heads a little bit, but then again, that second goal was just sensational.
Yeah.
I don't know what they could have done
Out
about
of the
that.
league.
And, yeah. And yeah, the third was probably my favorite. I don't know. It's just you could see confidence sort of like emanating from him.
Yes.
No, and the lead up to the goal also, like it was a team goal also. Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
started off being a team goal. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. I think he had like 3 defenders in the box where he kind of just.
yeah,
I think it was
greatly
like
controlled
4
almost.
almost.
It was kind of weird that like when I saw the goal like in like the full motion replay, it almost felt like everything slowed
Yeah,
for
time
him,
stopped,
but
right?
not
Yeah,
not the others.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
like
the
yeah, he
hallmark of a
just
great
it was brilliant. It was kind of like, do you remember like Martial's goal against South, like very chipped, like the keeper and a defender, like like in after Project Restart, like there, like you just feel that striker had like that extra second, than as compared to the other players where he just saw that, oh yeah, the goal is open, I'm just going to shoot.
Yeah, I think just the way he was able to keep the ball, he was almost glued to his feet, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing great players do. They just seem to have that extra time. It's
But the
almost
question
Yep.
yeah.
but the question is Patrick Bamford a great player?
No, he's not. It's just that's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
That confidence was basically you could see the way he was playing, right?
Yeah.
And it just sort of it kind of rode the wave, I think. But yeah, I mean, this guy was not supposed to be clinical. I don't know. I don't know how many goals he scored already, 6 or something. He's right up there.
So
I think 5 or something. 3 or
so that is an interesting point you make. So like I think I mentioned a couple of episodes back, saw the Leeds documentary, and I think Bamford was bought 2 seasons back in Leeds,
Yeah.
like precisely to score goals. But and yes, you are right that he is not supposed to be clinical, but I think Leeds as a team under Bielsa just created enough chances for him to score even without his like good conversion rate.
Yeah.
So, but I feel that he definitely does have a presence in the box.
No,
like
he does a lot of
poacher kind of an
things
ability.
well. I mean, that's kind of what he brings. A lot of off the ball work, link up play, and all of that. Almost like this false nine kind of thing that is so prevalent nowadays. But I think the clinical side of him is not something which people have seen, and he was, I think, criticized quite a bit last season for not finishing off his chances. But yeah, Bielsa will always play him because of what he brings to the team off the ball and even on it when he's dropping deep.
True.
Yeah. So, do you guys have?
And yeah, just one more shout out to the like I think Avinash came up with a Twitter the tweet saying that this might be a season with probably the highest number of hat-tricks, maybe.
Yeah.
So yeah, go on to our Twitter, check it out, see, let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, so I was going to say it now, but yeah, maybe we'll let people check it out because there's more to that particular stat, I think.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah. So, you want me to say it now, or?
Yeah, go for it. I think.
No, I think there's there's the point at which it happened. It was after the first game of the game week, right? So it was kind of like 5.1 game weeks, and if you consider that there are 2, it was like 4.9 because every game is like 1/10 basically.
Yeah.
And at that point there were 5 hat-tricks, right? There was the 5th hat-trick of the season, so there was actually more hat-tricks than game days.
Games. Oh wow.
So just for a brief period. So yeah, I think I went on Twitter with that. I thought it was interesting. And
I think you jinxed it for the rest of the league because when you did put that stat up, Patrick Bamford obviously scored, and that was the first game of the weekend. And then the rest of the weekend, there were only 19 goals scored this weekend,
The whole
I
weekend.
know.
which was like the lowest for so far the seasons. So
I know not to do that next time. Yeah. Okay. So moving on, I guess. What do we have? Tottenham.
Burnley, Tottenham.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. One
So
more
it
to add to
was
the list.
it was like it was again, I think, a Kane and Son show, but this time it was through their heads and not through their legs. It
Good thing
was,
about that game, the way they combined the goals.
yeah. But it looks like Harry Kane is in real good nick and real good form. Like, I don't know whether you guys saw, but he actually cleared
Yeah.
one ball off
That
the
was good.
line, like
Yeah.
in a corner, and it looks like it's like you see that confidence back. And he's usually known to start the season pretty poorly, but I hope he ends the season poorly.
It's the thing about him not scoring in August, right? But yeah,
yeah,
the league
yeah.
didn't start in August,
The
so
league started in August. So yeah.
That's
maybe
true.
we want them to do that every time.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but
Yeah.
this was like a typical Jose Masterpiece. These 1-0, 1-0 wins, keep a clean sheet
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, I mean, they were coming off of a 3-3 draw with West Ham. So much needed win rather for them.
Yeah, but it
Yep.
came too late. I mean, the goal, and yeah, it was just a piece of really nice improvisation from Harry Kane, which is kind of what he's doing is setting up Son a lot.
Son. Yeah.
So I think that's something he's added to his game. We mentioned this in one of the other. Really becoming more and more of a creator, and yeah, he's obviously still got that finishing touch, but he's probably not sort of doing the running in behind himself, not playing so much on the shoulder of the last defender, and yeah, maybe to compensate for a bit of lost space with the injuries that he's had. But yeah,
It might be a good idea to have both of them in your FPL team.
I think most people do, but yeah, I can't afford Kane. It's
Yes,
too
he
much.
is very expensive.
Uh, yeah, that's about it. I think. Is there anything else?
Yes, no, that's
Uh,
pretty much it.
yeah, as you can see, I think we're a little lost for words this time around.
Yeah, it was like a very, at least for me, I mean, it was a very crabby weekend. Yeah, it was like,
Whatever
not
adjective want to
Yeah, it
use.
doesn't
That
matter.
was literally loss of words.
because no, it just goes beyond football also, because Lewis Hamilton in Formula One sort of broke Schumacher's record of all-time wins, so that was sort of bad. Then Mumbai Indians in cricket lost the game on the Sunday, so it was bad. Then Arsenal lost the game. So all in all, it was a very pathetic weekend for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy how that happens often.
Yeah.
One team wins, all your teams win at the same
I
time.
hope
On
I hope you have a strong heart because you may be on the receiving end this weekend too.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Oh,
I'm actually hopeful.
the banter started. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Hopefully, it's a better weekend this time around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, unless we have anything more to add, we can probably end. So, that will do us for this week. Hopefully, we'll be back next weekend with a little bit more enthusiasm, a few more goals at the very least. All right, then. See you next time. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye.